battle of the sexes. Who wins? Men, women, or me? Who right now has, 2, 3, 4, $4 in her wallet. Can make it sprinkle, can't really make it rain. For round one, let's go ahead and knock out what is probably the most contentious finance and gender issue, which is income. Why is it so contentious? Because I have to use the phrase gender wage gap and bring up the often cited statistic that women in the United States make about 77 cents for every dollar a man in the United States makes. Some people are now commenting, no, Kristen, the gender wage gap is a total farce. There are all kinds of factors, such as the type of job a woman wants to get, whether or not she has kids, negotiation skills, that can help close that gender wage gap. But if we are looking at the median weekly income of full-time employees in the United States, men, you be making more money. On average, it adds up to about $431,000 more dollars men are bringing home over the life term. So now that we got some cash in our pockets, let's talk about spending it. Regardless of whether women have that stereotypical uncontrollable shoe shopping habit. What shoe habit? It often costs more to be a woman. Products and services for women tend to cost a little bit more than products and services for men. Marie Claire magazine did an in-depth analysis on this and found that American women every year spend about $151 billion extra dollars on these kinds of things. The stuff as basic as women's haircuts, dry cleaning, and even razors. And ladies beware, consumer research has also suggested that we tend to be more emotionally impulsive shoppers. In other words, we have a bad day, and so we want to go out and buy ourselves a new lipstick to make us feel better. Not to say that men don't spend plenty of money, especially on bigger ticket items like consumer electronics and automobiles, but when it comes to the fact that men are making more money and it costs more to be a woman, ladies, we're losing on spending too. Which brings us to round 3 of who's better at saving money, and it's pretty straightforward, men. When it comes to retirement savings, men are way better at saving than women are, even though, hello, ladies, we outlive men on average by like a bajillion years. In the United States alone, only 45% of salaried women are enrolled in retirement savings plans. One study compared men and women's retirement savings and found that guys had stockpiled 56% more retirement funds than women. Women, we cannot forget that at some point we will be old and we'll probably want to be able to have money to go play bingo or something. I still only got $4. One thing that's certainly not gonna help men or women with retirement savings is a 4-letter word called debt. Surprise, surprise, ladies, despite the stereotype that we run up massive credit card debt with our shoe shopping habits, women actually tend to have slightly higher credit scores and slightly lower credit card debt loads than men. Finally, if you want to turn your $1 into $2 without barely lifting a finger, you're gonna want to invest. Who's better at investing? Not necessarily the wolves of Wall Street, but perhaps the lady wolves. Many financial studies have found that perhaps due to our lower levels of testosterone, women tend to be more risk averse with investing our money, which might sound totally boring, but actually reaps us greater green rewards over the long term, especially in more financially turbulent times as we have recently been in. Hashtag recession. For our 6th and final round, let's take it down a notch to just household budgeting. Who's better with this day-to-day kind of spending for a family? There's an oft-cited statistic that women are responsible for 80% of household spending, which at least suggests that a lot of us think that women are more responsible with household money. Some statisticians say, 80% sounds a little inflated. Guys are probably more invested in household finances. But if you look at studies in the developing world, when you give women, and particularly mothers, control of household finances, they are usually better at reinvesting it into the household. So that's why you often hear about women in particular being the key to developing nations, rising GDPs, and economic profiles. What does this all add up to? Who wins the fiscal battle of the sexes? It's a tie. So audience, I can only turn it over to you and ask, who's better with money? What do you think, men or women? Let me know in the comments below.